Ladies and gentlemen, I take pride in introducing the greatest show on earth.
Welcome to the Uncle Floyd Show podcast. My name is Scott Gordon, and we're here in the studio again this week. Unfortunately, Floyd was still undergoing the treatments with the equipment that I could not bring the recording equipment into his room. So we're going to have a little bit of a special thing, and I think you'll enjoy this a lot. Everybody seemed to enjoy when I had Artie Delmar on, and we're going to continue in that vein. So stand by and we'll get going. All right. Now, I got something I want you to hear first before we get into introductions and everything. But just take a listen to this voice.
Tell me, little gypsy, what the future holds for me. Kindly cross my palm with silver, and I'll try and see.
You're listening to the voice of Michael Townsend Wright, sometimes referred to as the new guy on the show, and he's here with us. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Scott. It's great to be with you. And I'm the eternal new guy, as you know.
Well, yeah, considering the fact you were the last one to join the cast and worked with us for several years, and we enjoyed having you there.
I loved it.
First things first. That's from an album called Rare and Unrecorded Irving Berlin Music, which was produced by Chip DeFa, and that's Michael Townsend Wright singing
Yes.
Tell Me, Little Gypsy.
Yes, I enjoy working with Chip all the time, and I know you work with him quite a bit, restoring and working on projects with him.
I do the restorations of his records when he wants to get them on the air. You know, when he wants to put them on a CD, all records that have disappeared from the history books, and he finds them. We've worked with stuff up to 120 years old.
Wow.
Which is amazing. Which is amazing.
It sure is. Recording history.
But some of that stuff has gotten quite loved during the time, and played, and we have to bring it up to standards so people will enjoy it again.
To some people, it's brand new, something they don't know anything about, but are introduced to it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Michael, this is the Uncle Floyd Show podcast, or the Uncle Floyd podcast. Floyd is not with us because he's the treatments he's getting require electronic equipment that they won't let me bring the recording stuff into where he's located. So we got you today. You're filling in for Floyd.
Me. Well, I've been listening to the podcast and I've been enjoying them, and I know Floyd is enjoying them. I can tell.
Oh, he's having a great time with them.
Oh yeah, he loves reminiscing and answering questions. I can tell.
So, Michael, how did you find or get involved with the Uncle Floyd Show?
Well, it's an interesting story, Scott. I'm so glad you asked. It all began right here where I still am, in Cliffwood Beach, New Jersey, a long time ago. And in my little church in Cliffwood Beach, Bayview Presbyterian, one of the founders, a nice gentleman, Joseph Sinclair, knew that I had done puppets since I was 3 years old in my own yard here. I did puppet shows for the children. I considered them the children. I was 3 years old myself. And I did puppet shows. We were all into the same stuff, Scott. And he knew that. So in the mid-'70s, he said, Michael, I saw this great new show. You would love it. This guy plays piano, and he has puppets, and he sings old songs, everything right up your alley. So I took him on his word, and I put it, and he was right. I found it on Channel 68 on my television, and I loved it. And I have to tell you something funny, Scott. Even then, I don't know how or why or for whatever reason, somehow I'm going to end up on that show someday. I don't know why, but Jersey guys that love what I love, somehow it's going to happen someday. And I didn't aim for it. I just knew it would happen. So anyway, the first time I ever saw you and Scott, you're Scott, and Floyd and Muggsy, I don't know if anyone else was there. Cliffwood Beach is a section of Aberdeen Township, New Jersey.
Right.
And one of your sponsors at that time was Platypus. I think it was the early 80s. Here and you, at least the three of you, I'm not sure anyone else, made a personal appearance there in Aberdeen Township at Platypus Records.
I think David was also with us at that
Maybe
one.
David was there as well.
Yeah.
And you all had these composite photos of your characters that you were signing, and I still have mine, I think. And Floyd mostly had himself with Oogie, I think, in his picture.
Well, that's the thing about guys like us, Michael. We don't throw anything away.
You're telling me.
I swear I have every costume and every prop that I ever used on the show.
Me too. Piled up somewhere and everywhere. But I was a fan at that time from having watched the show, and you all were very nice, but we moved along like a line. And I spoke briefly to each of you. So that's the first time I ever actually met the four of you, I guess. So, in an informal way. But then, let's see. Oh, speaking of Bayview Presbyterian Church, a couple years later, we used to have something called Stewardship Sunday, which was when the members would make a pledge for the coming year, which is always fun. So they had me go up on the little stage there in Fellowship Hall and do a comedic character I did to ease the pain of making a pledge for the coming year. And Norma Harding used to come to our church, and she was the mother-in-law of Jim Monaco.
Uh-huh.
And I had never met Jim, but she said, my son-in-law is putting together a little cable TV show, and I think it would be good for you to meet him. She said, we live right around the corner from you, and he still does. Jim still does with his wife Debbie, and so I don't think I went there. I think he made an appointment at the studio in Hazlitt where he was going to do the show, and so he had me read things or do little bits to try out, and it worked out. And so it was called the Monmouth Comedy Shop at that time because it was only in Monmouth County on cable.
Uh-huh.
But then he arranged for us to go on CTN, where the Floyd Show also was, for some time. And so we progressed to statewide after a while. And we were invited, well, I wasn't, but Jim was invited to the studio in Hightstown where you guys were for a while. Do you remember that?
Oh, well, Jim actually came and worked with us at Channel 68 in West Orange for a while.
Oh, yes, I know that. He was a member of the cast.
That was previous to what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He had been a member of the cast several years before that. So then he was invited to make an appearance with you guys at Hightstown one day, and I remember it because the cowboy guy had a whip or something. I remember that. I didn't go on, but Jim did. And Floyd said, I enjoy your work, Michael. So I guess he used to watch Jim's show.
Yeah, we all did. We would tune through different things. I remember watching the show.
So sometime later, you fellas came to Jim's uncle's big warehouse or something in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Do you remember that?
Right. That was
Route 9.
That was post New Jersey I think that was post New Jersey Network, or was that in between syndication? No, that was post New Jersey Network.
I was never on New Jersey Network. Yes, it was after that. Oh, but right before then, Joe Franklin was asked by Phil Neary, the Bound Brook Theater. Remember that? And Joe. You remember Joe? Sure, I'll be there. Sure. To introduce you guys
Right.
So he said, sure, of course. So then I got a call from Joe Frank. Michael, listen, I'm not going to go there. Will you fill in for me? You're New Jersey, will you go? I said, okay, Joe. But Phil Neary was very unhappy about that. But when I got there, he said, where's Joe? I said, well, he couldn't make it. But he had me selling tickets. I said, oh, good grief. So then I did introduce you guys, and I loved the show. I was in the audience after that. But in the parking lot, when you guys were getting ready to go, you were all chatting with Floyd in his window car there.
Right.
And he said, Michael, come over here. Michael, come over here. Because I was getting in my car. So then that's the first extensive, we chatted quite a while, all of us. He said, listen, you can be on the show sometime. But then he did that thing with Woodbridge, see, shortly after that. And I became a member, and Jim was on the show at that time. I sort of became a member of the cast at that time, 1987.
That warehouse was one of Jim's relatives, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Owned the warehouse, and it had no heat.
Oh, we wore coats.
We wore coats underneath our costumes. I remember doing Dr. What's the Matter with a big sweater underneath it.
Oh, it was hilarious.
And
in some ways, it was the most bizarre time of the show, wasn't it, Scott?
It was. The parking lot was dirt.
Oh, mud.
And we got stuck in it. Lee Arlith was with us at the time, and her car got stuck, and we were all pushing her car out. We were all covered with mud.
It's hilarious.
And we had a lot of fun in that place, but it came to an end, and we had to move on to a different location. And when we left there, we went to OBC. We went to Pat Marucchi's place.
In Nutley.
In Nutley, right.
We were there quite some time.
Right next to the swamp.
Exactly. We went from mud to the swamp. But the funny thing is, each thing I watched in the early days, it was a wild time, everybody was young, and then later on it was slightly different. It's interesting because each phase had a different feel to it. The Woodbridge was almost wild, almost we were always improv, but that was completely crazy. Remember?
We had to be, because we had no pre-roll, we had no opening, we had no ending. The timing was bare.
We would throw the sketches out the window in a way. Remember, we'd just start dancing or do crazy things.
And throwing things around and
exactly
getting into arguments. I actually have a couple of things that I will not air on the Tuesday night show because of the fact that they got a little too personal.
Which was hilarious in its own way.
Oh,
but
all right.
Things.
We have to pause for a few seconds because they're going to put a spot in here, and we'll be back in just about a minute.
Okay, Scott.
All right, we're back. That's all it takes.
Back again.
Yeah, I can throw in one of my own spots if you'd like to pause.
Sure.
Here. This is interesting.
Everyone goes to Robert Hall for Easter clothes this year. Greater selection, lower priced at Robert Hall this year. Low overhead savings for your family clothes for one and all. You can be better dressed for Easter, save at Robert Hall.
I thought you would find that interesting, Michael.
I love it. Many of my childhood suits from Robert Hall.
Oh, I bought them into adulthood through there. The jacket that everybody comments on, the plaid jacket that I wore for just about every interview character and several characters on the show, is a Robert Hall jacket.
Isn't that something? As a matter of fact, Scott, I'm in the same boat. Because, I don't know if you remember, I did sort of a Harry Langdon kind of character, almost silent character. And that jacket was from Robert Hall. I don't think I could even get my arm in it, let alone wear it now.
I bought that jacket, the plaid jacket, for my sister's wedding, nearly 55 years ago.
Wow, that was your signature jacket, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the one that everybody recognizes. As a matter of fact, it's hanging up right behind me.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Right now. So.
That's great.
Now, a lot of people don't realize that you've also done off-Broadway, you've done movies. Let's talk about a couple of your movies.
Yes. Let's see now. Maybe the most interesting might be in the late 80s, and for HBO, I was in The Rat Pack. I played Walter Winchell.
Walter Winchell, I remember seeing that.
And I sort of narrated the film in a way. You could see me in the beginning at the microphone. Then I sort of narrated it about Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack. And then the following year, I was in an HBO film called Lansky, and I played Richard Dreyfuss's brother, Jake Lansky, the gangsters from that era. And that was fun, too. I've seen Richard a couple of times over the years to remind him of that. And he was still speaking to me miraculously. But the
well, you did a good job as his brother.
I hope so. But then in 2022, I was in a film, Owen Klein's film, Funny Pages. I played a very disreputable landlord, and that sort of got a little attention, I guess. And with John Shea, I did a short years ago called Blocky, a satire of Rocky, which we actually, Bohemian Productions, we still are in a way. I mean, we still are, I guess. And we rented it around the country as a comedy short before films, and it's something we didn't charge a lot, but we liked the idea of doing that. And Robert Rothbard, my friend, we made several films, including The Life and Times of Charlie Putz. I was Charlie Putz typecasting, and that's become sort of a little cult thing. And so, and there's a couple of possibilities in the pipeline now. Oh, a movie, Charlotte Coley, called Fior de Latte, which is in post-production. So that should be interesting, too.
Fior de Latte, what, flour of milk?
That's right. But I'm, exactly, but I'm an old ham, so we like to keep working, right, Scott?
Yeah, and it's
Not that
always
I'm calling
fun.
you an old ham, but I'm calling me an old ham.
There were a few TV appearances you did as well.
Yes. Let's see now. What are some of them? I did, what was the one with Dennis Leary?
Right, that was the fire department thing.
Yes. I played an odd character in that.
You got hired for that for an interesting reason.
Rescue Me. That's it.
Rescue Me, right.
Rescue Me.
You got hired for that for a very interesting reason, if I remember correctly.
What's that?
Because you had a comb over.
Exactly. And I'm not shy about poking fun at myself.
Well,
that was the character I played. You're right, Scott.
What we did on the Uncle Floyd Show, let's face it, we poke fun at ourselves all the time.
We couldn't be shy. We couldn't be overly whatever.
There were no egos.
We were. No egos in that sense. No, not at all.
Anybody who came in with an ego did not last on that show at all.
Exactly. They didn't last at all. We bared it all. I mean, not bared it all, of course. But I mean...
well, I did in one sketch. There was a sketch with gymnastic, and we had a couple of women on who were late teens, early 20s, two women who were Olympic quality gymnasts.
Yes.
And I was like teaching them. So I'm doing my gymnastic thing at 317 pounds, and I had a wardrobe malfunction right on camera.
Oh, no.
Let's just say the bell clapper showed.
Oh, my goodness.
And
I bet Skip was laughing his head off in the background there.
Everybody was laughing their head off in the background, and
oh, yeah.
It aired with a big blue screen that said, oops.
But the crowd loved all that, the audience.
Well, there was no audience. That was at Channel 68,
yes.
which was a living room. Basically a living room that they moved two TV cameras into.
On Eagle Rock Avenue, right?
416 Eagle Rock.
Yes. That's when I used to watch it in those early days. And it was wild and hilarious. Does that exist anymore, that footage?
I have it.
and it's going to stay there.
I have it. I may show it on Tuesday night. For those of you who
that'd be great.
For those of you who don't know, Tuesday night, every Tuesday night at 8, we have a date, as Floyd likes to say, with This Was the Uncle Floyd Show. It's on stageit.com, but the easiest way to find it is to go to theunclefloydshow.tv. Take you right to it.
Wow, that's a great tease for the crowd because they're going to keep watching until that episode comes on. Scott, you see that?
I may use it eventually. That's from like 1979. I had just purchased a VHS machine. That's why nothing exists from the early days, is because all the tapes were reused. They were over and over again. We had 10 2-inch quad videotapes. Reel of tape cost $800 each.
Wow.
And we'd make a week of shows, and then they would go into showing. And while they were showing, we'd make the next week of shows and erase the previous week before. So until the tapes ran out or wore out, we didn't replace them. They were too expensive.
You had to do it in a way.
Yeah, well, the show was paid for by Floyd. Floyd actually paid for everything. He went out and sold the advertisement, collected the money, brought it to the station, and paid the station to put the show on.
That's right.
And whatever was left over, that was profit. That's called air brokering. And that's still done today on TV, on cable, on radio, all over.
Oh, yes.
A lot of people don't realize it. That's the way it works.
And how much work Floyd really put into it, all those, And came up with 5 shows a week. I mean, we did most of them in one night, do you remember?
We did a total of about 7,000 shows.
Wow.
Altogether. We did 240 shows a year on average. And that was like one a day. And during syndication, we not only did the 5 for the week, but we did a long one for Saturday. So
that was before my time, of course, but I did the 5 shows in one night while I was there. And we did many not personal appearances, but, regular shows on stages and nightclubs.
Right, stage shows and nightclubs, schools, churches, all over the place. We were like the flu. We got around.
And I'm 5 minutes away by car from Club Benet.
Which doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
No, and barely do I think. But the
well, you know what
we had a lot of fun there.
You know what they say, Michael? You know you're getting older when you stand up out of bed in the morning and it sounds like someone's making popcorn.
Well, Scott, every morning I jump out of bed to meet the new day enthusiastically, and I immediately get a splitting headache. And I went to the doctor, and he said, Michael, how many times do I have to tell you, feet first? I'm doing the jokes.
That would make sense.
Yes. But anyhow, I just thought of something else. Another TV show on Nickelodeon I had never heard of, and Sophia Robbins, who was the associate of my old agent, Archer King, for many, many years, called me and said, Michael, they want you for the Naked Brothers Band. And I said, Sophia, I don't do things like that. What are you talking about? I thought it was that play off Broadway, Naked Boys Singing or something. I said, I don't do that. And also, why in the world would they want me? And she said, no, this is a children's show with Nat and Alex Wolf and on Nickelodeon. And I did it, and it was a lot of fun. They were very nice. Polly Draper, the mother, an actress.
Now I'm going to have to look that one up because I've never seen that.
And Wolf, I can't think of his first name, a very nice man, was the band leader on one of the talk shows years ago. But they were very nice to me, and I had a lot of fun. We were at Ripe Playland.
Oh, okay.
I was the MC of a little kiddie beauty pageant, and the boy, Alex, who was the drummer, dressed as the girl to win, and he won or something. I don't know, some crazy thing. But it was a lot of fun.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for it. One of the things people remember you doing a lot are the characters, the imitations. Bob Hope, Bud Abbott.
But I want to tell you, it's great, isn't it? Costello, what are you doing? No, but I thought it would be funny to have Abbott without Costello. And I did an over-exaggerated, look, I'm all named up. Remember all that?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you doing it. I've shown some on Tuesday nights.
And Doc Pretentious.
And
I didn't know who Doc was. I had never met him at that time, but you guys described him to me. So I tried to do an impression of him.
Well, eventually you did meet him.
Yeah, we did, and we worked many times together, Scott. Remember when we...
Yeah. He was a heck of a guy. You know, he was...
great guy.
He was a really wonderful banjo player, and he had great stories. His group, I don't remember the name of it, won the Major Bows.
Really? Amateur hour.
Amateur hour, when Frank Sinatra came in second.
Wow, way back then in the late 30s, I think.
Yeah. Frank Sinatra came in second, and they went on tour with Frank Sinatra.
Isn't that something? I didn't even know that all these years.
And one of the great stories Doc used to tell was how he and the guys in the band took Frank Sinatra to his first boarding house.
Oh. and he took it from there.
Yeah, took it from there, right. So
my goodness.
We've got a history, don't we?
We just touched the surface.
Our time is about up.
Wow.
We've done nearly a half hour here, Michael.
That's amazing.
It goes quickly, and we'll have to have you back on again, talk about some more stuff.
I'd be happy to.
And all right, so anyone who's interested, like to send questions in. I'll be getting back with Floyd very soon. Hopefully next time we'll be able to get Floyd back on here. And if you have some questions you'd like to send in, just send a simple email with a single question to ufpodcast@sge-inc.com. That's ufpodcast@sge-inc.com. And Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, I had a great time, Scott. Thanks so much for asking me.
And we'll see everybody next time here on the Uncle Floyd Show podcast, or the Uncle Floyd podcast. It's not the Uncle Floyd Show podcast. It's the Uncle Floyd podcast. Sometimes I don't know what the heck I'm saying. But we'll see you again next time.
This program was produced in the studios of Scott Gordon Enterprises, Incorporated in Paramus, New Jersey.